Mira sat across from him, the once familiar warmth of their shared dinners replaced by a chilling void. His words, sharp and laced with disapproval, hung heavy in the air, silencing her. It wasn't the first time she felt her voice, her opinions, shrink under his gaze. She found herself shrinking back, minimizing her own thoughts and feelings to appease him. Love, she had always believed, was about sharing, about growing together. Yet here she was, feeling smaller, less significant with each passing day. The silence stretched, punctuated only by the clinking of cutlery. A single tear escaped, a silent testament to the growing unease within her. This wasn't love, not the kind she had dreamt of, the kind that nurtured and empowered. Something was amiss, she realized, a disquieting discord in the melody of their love. This realization, though faint, marked the beginning of her awakening. His control was insidious, a slow, creeping vine that tightened its grip around her life. It began subtly, disguised as concern, as protectiveness. He knew what was best for her, he claimed, subtly steering her decisions, her choices, her life. Her world, once vast and vibrant, began to shrink, confined within the walls of his approval. His words, though seemingly innocuous, chipped away at her self-esteem. Every compliment came with a backhanded remark, every achievement undermined by a subtle jab. He was the puppet master, expertly pulling at her strings, manipulating her emotions, her insecurities. She was caught in a cycle of emotional highs and lows, always striving for his approval, his love, never quite reaching, never quite enough. This, Mira realized, was not love, but a twisted imitation, a counterfeit currency masquerading as affection. Love, she had believed, was supposed to be a source of strength, a safe haven. Yet, in the distorted reality he had crafted, it became a weapon used to control and manipulate. Her perception of love, once pure and untainted, became clouded, distorted through the lens of his manipulation. She started questioning herself, her worth, her sanity. His words became her reality, his judgments her own. Doubts gnawed at her, whispering insidious lies, making her believe that she was the problem, that she needed to change, to be better, to be worthy of his love. The once vibrant hues of her life faded into a dull monochrome, her dreams and aspirations relegated to the dusty corners of her mind. This, she knew deep down, wasn't the love she deserved, the love that empowered and uplifted. A flicker of defiance ignited within her, a tiny spark of rebellion against the suffocating grip of his control. She deserved more, she realized, her heart yearning for the freedom to be her true self. Section 4. A Crack in the Facade, Mira's Awakening. The realization dawned slowly, like a sunrise piercing through a long, dark night. It began with a whisper, an inner voice questioning the validity of his words, the legitimacy of his actions. She began to see the cracks in the facade he had so carefully constructed, the inconsistencies, the manipulations disguised as love. His words, once gospel, now rang hollow in her ears. His criticisms, his judgments, no longer held the power to wound her. The fog of manipulation began to clear, revealing the stark reality of her situation. She saw him for what he truly was, not the charming, caring man he pretended to be, but a master manipulator, skilled at exploiting her vulnerabilities. The love she had so fiercely clung to, she realized, was an illusion, a gilded cage that held her captive. This realization, though painful, was liberating. It shattered the illusion, freeing her from the shackles of his control, allowing her to reclaim her own narrative. Section 5. Stepping into the light, a promise of freedom. The decision to leave was not easy. Each step forward met with resistance from the invisible chains that still bound her. But with each act of defiance, with each boundary she set, she felt a surge of empowerment, a newfound strength she never knew she possessed. The world outside his control seemed daunting at first, unfamiliar and vast. But with each step she took away from him, she felt lighter, freer, the weight of his manipulation lifting from her shoulders. The journey ahead would be long, she knew, filled with healing and self-discovery, but she was ready to embark on it, to reclaim her life, her voice, her identity. The toxic love she had escaped had inadvertently gifted her a priceless lesson: the importance of self-love, of setting boundaries, of recognizing and walking away from anything that diminished her spirit. As she stepped into the sunlight, she carried with her not just the scars of the past, but the wisdom gained, the resilience forged, and the unwavering belief in her own worthiness of a love that empowered, a love that set her free.